Hello everyone, Lauren Newley here. Welcome back to my channel. I debated a lot about whether or not I actually wanted to make this video because I just feel like I want to help people, but I also have, struggled a lot in the past with certain things like weight or mental health and things like that. And I just don't want to upset anybody else by talking about this stuff, but I also feel like at the same time, I have been able to lose like large amounts of weight multiple times in my life. However, you'll find out if I keep filming, the weight has come back a lot of times too. But I just feel like I know that there are a lot of people out there that struggle with losing weight. And I feel like the way that I've done it this time is so different than how I've approached it in the past, that I feel really, really confident making this video, but I also don't want to impact anybody else's mental health negatively or the way that they view themselves negatively. So I guess that's what I would say. I would also put a disclaimer that obviously, I'm just a regular person who's lost weight a couple times, and I am not an expert, but I'm somehow able to do it. So that being said, I think I am just going to continue on, and we have the good omen of the Snoodle, the dog. Like I said, I've been able to lose weight multiple times in my life. So the first time that I think I lost a large amount of weight was from going into 8th into 9th grade. And then I was able to lose weight freshman year of college after gaining weight. And then I was able to lose weight again when I was kind of prepping for my wedding. I think I lost like 40 plus pounds that time. And then this last time, it's probably like a little bit less than that, but about the same. So again, to put it into context, before I got pregnant with my first, I was in a certain pair of jeans and at a certain weight. Then pregnancies happened, and now I'm back there. And I'm a year postpartum with my second. I did not do anything intentionally to lose this weight. I will talk to you right now about what I did, but that gives you a little bit of backstory. I would also say I grew up kind of during that time of like diet culture, the South Beach diet, the Atkins diet, things like that, the Victoria's Secret fashion show, like comparing bodies. So I think that is also like something that a lot of people resonate with. But I think in the past, I've tried like maybe a specific diet or a specific workout plan, and it just has never worked for me. Like it will work for a short period of time, but then something will happen or you can't stick with it or whatever. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. So this time I did something different. Basically, everybody has heard of the mind-body connection, okay? So the way that I think of that is you have your mind and you have your body, and there's some sort of connection there. I think from that diet culture and kind of like when I grew up and just kind of how I grew up and both my parents being in healthcare, I think I really looked at it like mental health and physical health as they were two separate things. And I think that at least what I was taught was sort of, if you have things that aren't going great mentally, or you feel depressed, or you feel anxious, or you feel this way, just get your physical health in order, and then your mental health will just fall into place. Okay, tried it. Didn't work. Tried it again. Didn't work. So I think that's when I realized I needed a different approach. And that's what I've done this time. So I'm going to look at my notes because I wrote a lot down. I also want to say that doing like trying to fix the body first and then the mind, that just led to this like endless loop for me of being able to lose weight, then something bad or life circumstances would change, and then I gain weight again. And then do it again, do it again, do it again. So fixing the mind first and then the body falling into place is what worked for me. So the way that I kind of figured out to go this route was there's this analogy, which I hope I'm saying it, like doing it right, but basically like you have your two hips, right? And if one is in front of the other, like the natural thing would be to like put them back in alignment to just like shove this one back. But apparently that doesn't work. So like to be able to get this one to move back, you have to first move this one back to even create the space for this one to move back. And that's kind of how I thought about it. So like, this is the body, you're like constantly just trying to like fix the body so the mind can like do its thing or whatever, like to get it like more in alignment. And I feel like for me, I had to move the mind to the right spot for the body to even fall into place. And I know that just sounds so weird, but for some reason it really clicked for me. So maybe it will click for someone else. And I just thought, why not just try to fix my mental health first and see if I end up healthier at the end of it. And surprisingly it worked. So you'll notice, like, even with TE and things like that, I do feel like I am somebody who really firmly believes. So I'm over here and I'm thinking, I'm going to fix my mental health, like this hip analogy thing, and I'm going to fix my mental health. And I know that the weight's just going to fall off. I know that I'm just going to feel way better. And I just kept telling myself that. And I think that's a huge part of it, is you do have to keep telling yourself that so that your mind can do it and your body can do it. And that's kind of the underlying thing that I would say that I did, was change up my approach and believe that the weight was going to fall off. That's kind of the mental approach that I took. The actual, I guess, like, process that I took to doing this was, the first thing is I had what I would consider to be a traumatic life, I don't want to put quotes because it was a traumatic life event. I ended up having to spend a lot of time kind of on my own, which I haven't done in a really long time because I don't think a lot of people get to spend a lot of time alone. Some people do, but I don't. Basically, when I was by myself, I was just like super honest with myself because obviously I was feeling pretty down, and I was just like, all right, like, what is going on? Why are you struggling? Why are you so heavy? Why are you struggling finding things to wear because you can't get your weight under control? Just like certain things like that. And I really took a look at what my habits were that I felt like weren't keeping me in a good place. So for example, if you watch one of my previous videos, like keeping the house clean, that's a thing for me. But then I think it really does go into like what I was eating and when I was eating and how I was eating and things like that. And when I really looked at what these bad habits were, I just feel like once I was able to kind of break down like specific things that I wanted to change and kind of figure out why those things were in my life or why those were habits that I had, I was actually able to kind of release the hold that those things were having over me. Before I kind of get into what I want to talk about that I did healthy, I want to put that into context. So as I mentioned in my journaling video, my parents got divorced when I was like 5. And I just remember being somebody who, and again, this is embarrassing to say, but somebody who, when my parents were in a different room or whatever it was, while we were all still awake, I would go and sneak candy or some sort of food, and I would take it up to my room. And then when they would argue at night, sorry guys, I'm outing you, but you did argue at night, I would sit at the top of the stairs and I would basically binge eat this candy, okay? And it would just make me feel better than if I was just laying in my bed listening to them fight, okay? And again, no harm, no foul. We're all in good places now, but that is the reality of one of the habits that I had. That then later translated into things like in college, going out and getting food late at night and then bringing it back into my room, or things like this, which again, maybe some people normally do that, but mine was so deep rooted that it was like, all right, we got to figure out why this is really happening. And actually then I was able to be like, okay, I don't need to have the defense mechanism of a 5-year-old or whatever, the coping mechanism of a 5-year-old anymore, because I'm good. And then I was kind of able to let that go. So that is an example of when I talk about like being honest with myself and looking at these habits and kind of being able to release that. That's what I'm talking about for that. The other things that I did that I thought were helpful were meditation and journaling. Didn't see that one coming. Looking at my relationships, so bringing some people, closer in, and then maybe distancing myself from other people. And it just is what it is. So then the other thing that I did was I did kind of like a content detox and like reframing how I use social media and things like that. So I kind of just like distanced myself from social media as well. Yeah, I feel like I kind of just change the way that I use social media. So instead of going on my phone and scrolling, I would actually pick up my phone if I was thinking about somebody or talking about somebody or something like that, and go and check on them. Or if somebody said, oh, you should go and look at this on social media, I would go look at it. But I feel like I wasn't just sitting there scrolling anymore, and that was helping me get a lot of things done. Obviously, you're not going to use it that way forever, but I mean, helped a little bit, I guess. I also started only really intaking positive stuff. So I'm going to make a series of content I'm actually into, but I feel like I would listen to positive podcasts, topics that I was really, really inspired by, or things that I was really, really passionate about, instead of just kind of like clicking on random things and watching things that maybe weren't doing anything for me. So that was kind of how I reframed using social media and content and things like that. I also feel like I wasn't looking at it so much as like a comparison thing, which I would talk about in a different video, but I feel like I was like just using it as a tool or a little escape or something fun to do, instead of think where some people get is like your whole life is like intaking this stuff on your phone, and I just don't think that's healthy. So I did put a spot in my house where I put my phone so that I literally don't grab it unless I need to do something with it. It's not just like around with me. So other things that I did were, getting a planner and setting a schedule. So again, like I was saying with the content thing and how I used my phone, I just kind of like changed basic things in my life that I felt were helpful. So I got a planner, I set like a morning schedule and a PM schedule. Did I do it every day? No, but it was there. The planner I've been using for years. So yeah, but the schedule and things like that, I feel like even just having something is better than having nothing, I guess. And then getting into hobbies again and seeing my friends again and just doing stuff that made me happy. So going for a swim or, going shopping or just little things that I like to do. That was helpful. So that's all of the like stuff that I would say was more mental. So while I was doing all of this mental stuff, simultaneously I was doing physical things. And I would say now, looking at it in retrospect, what I would say happened was when I started sort of fixing my mental health, I just naturally kind of fell into this weird intermittent fasting schedule, which I think helped me drop weight pretty quickly. It wasn't intentional. I've done intermittent fasting in the past, but it was just the way that I was wanting to eat. And I did that for a good chunk of time. But again, it wasn't really intentional. So I couldn't say like, oh, I did that for a month and I lost this amount of time. It was just like, this is kind of what I did. And yeah. We typically only eat out like one time a week, but I don't even think we were eating out once a week. So if you are somebody who eats out a lot, that's a really easy thing that you could change. Just like cut it back by 1 time, 2 times. I'm having camera problems. Okay, and then after the intermittent fasting, I feel like the only other things that I really saw were portion sizes for me went down a lot. And then not eating out. Portion sizes went down for me a lot, and I got back into running. So I kind of like fixed all of the postpartum stuff I had, and then now I'm running again. So that's everything that I did. I know this is kind of like a weird video and kind of odd, but again, that's kind of how all my videos are. So I hope it helps you guys. I hope it gives you maybe some inspiration to have a different approach and get to the same result that you're looking for. And I will keep you posted because I'm still on my way, still on my journey. All right, bye guys.